on the debate, she's taunting you now. She's saying he doesn't want to debate me. Say it to my face, President Trump. That's what she said the other night.
I do hope you'll reconsider to meet me on the debate stage, because as the saying goes, if you've got something to say,
look, she's a third-rate candidate. She failed in her attempt to, against many other candidates. You know, she was the first one to drop out. She never made Iowa. And that was when you had a normal press. Now you have a press that's trying to protect her. The media is really dishonest. And you have a press that's trying, so maybe she'll do better.
VP Harris is a third-rate candidate, but the former president is still trying to avoid a debate with her.
She's terrible. She's not respected in foreign countries. I mean, she's laughed at. Everybody can't believe that this is happening.
In less than 2 years, my administration has accomplished more than almost any administration in the history of our country. America's so true. Didn't expect that reaction, but that's okay.
And I'm not a fan of Biden. He's not a smart guy, never was. You can go back 30 years, he was never a smart guy. But she's not smart either. She's not a smart person.
Are you going to debate her?
Well, I want to. We're leading in the polls, it seems, by quite a bit still.
Michigan registered voters put her and the former president at 49% each. That's 3 percentage points better than President Biden was performing. In Minnesota, the presumptive Democratic nominee is up and has a 6-point advantage there. They are both tied at 49 in Pennsylvania. And former President Trump has a 1-point lead in Wisconsin. Those results are comparable with the Trump versus Biden numbers.
She's better than he is, but I think ultimately she'll be worse than him. She's more radical than him. He was a phony, and she is also, but she's not a phony in terms of policy. She actually wants open borders. She actually wants to defund the police. To me, when you say open borders, defund the police, you don't have to go into the rest of it. And you know what they do? They just say it, and they keep saying it, saying it. The press helps them as much as possible, but they say very strongly, we had a great border. And people say, you know, it's funny, you say it enough times and people start to believe it too. That's the scary part. They are, it's like a whole con job. It's misinformation, disinformation at the highest level.
If you just stop and listen to Donald Trump speak, listen to his declarations, and try to find something tangible behind them, you'll discover that everything is validated through the vetting process of because I said it. But reality that everyone can see always seems to disagree. So people are left believing him or their lying eyes.
Well, Vice President Kamala Harris is now deciding on her running mate. So it looks like the finalists are Josh Shapiro, governor of Pennsylvania. Does he help her get more votes in Pennsylvania? What about Mark Kelly? Does he help her with the border, Arizona?
Can I tell you, I don't care. Let them do whatever. They still want to have open borders. If she picks Shapiro, she's going to lose the Palestinian vote, and that's fine. Everybody has their liabilities. I think if she picks Shapiro, who happens to be Jewish, she loses her little Palestinian base because they like me because they think I'm going to bring peace to the Middle East, even though I'm very strong for Israel. Israel loves me. But, you know, a lot of the Arab states like me, too, because you know what they want to see? They want to see peace.
Okay, so try to follow this thought process. If VP Harris chooses Josh Shapiro, she'll lose her little Palestinian voting base, which I guess he thinks solely consists of Palestinian Americans that his party openly thinks should die. He's illustrating that he only thinks in terms of tribalism, where a Jewish person automatically forces people concerned about our participation in this genocide to reject Democrats. But at the same time, magically he claims Arab states love him, even though his stance on the targeted murder of innocent people is to finish the job.
Israel has to finish that job. They have to finish it quickly, strongly, and they have to get back to life again because it's taking too long. They have to finish the job.
You're saying go in, win, and finish.
You gotta win. Gotta win.
Absolutely no evidence, not even a fake anecdotal story of Arab states supporting him because they think he'll bring peace to the region. But don't forget, choosing Governor Shapiro will mean that she'll lose support. This coming after he disregarded the importance of a running mate, mostly because his really sucks.
When you look at J.D. Vance, is he ready on day one?
Does he what?
Ready on day one, if he has to be.
I've always had great respect for him. and for the other candidates too. But I will say this, and I think this is well documented. Historically, the vice president, in terms of the election, does not have any impact. I mean, virtually no impact.
Donald Trump both makes and destroys his points within minutes, sometimes seconds. But the reoccurring theme is that when he says it, it's true until he says the opposite. Conservative pundits and Republican politicians are begging for him to stop focusing on disparaging Harris based on race and gender and to focus on issues. But he can't, because this is what happens when he's forced to talk about issues like debt and the economy.
What about the debt? I mean, you know, with no taxes on Social Security, no taxes on tips. I mean, when does $35 trillion in debt become an emergency?
We are going to, you know, we were at a point, we were doing so well prior to COVID, just prior to COVID, we were going to start reducing debt and we're going to start reducing taxes still further. You know, I gave the biggest tax cut ever, bigger than the Reagan tax cuts. But you know what happened? It was very interesting. We took in more revenue with a smaller percentage of taxes than we did with a big percentage of taxes. And nobody understood it. I did. Some people did. But few people understood it. But when we cut taxes, we took in much more money. The country made more money. And we were getting ready. We were getting ready to pay off debt. We were going to drill, baby, drill. We were going to we have more oil. You look at these countries, these oil-bearing countries. China is not one of them, by the way. You know, we want to go to all electric cars, and yet we don't have what's necessary for electric cars. They're all going to be made in China.
Again, just because Trump says his tax cuts brought in tons of money while he conveniently claimed we were just getting ready to pay off debt, reality disagreed again. And although he likes the played-out mantra of drill, baby, drill, he refuses to acknowledge that President Biden has presided over a record boom in oil production because the Interior Department has outpaced the Trump administration in approving new drilling permits. All this information is just a couple of articles away, but he knows that if he didn't say it, MAGA doesn't think that it's real.
Please explain to us how your economic policies that will impact the lives of American citizens differs from Kamala Harris's economic policies.
I don't have enough time. You know, you'd have to give me like the entire day. We're going to, number one, base it very strongly in energy. We have more energy. We have more liquid gold, as I call it, under our feet than Saudi Arabia, than Russia, than anybody. We're going to be energy dominant. We're going to make a fortune. We're going to supply it all over Europe, all over the world. We're going to be double and triple what they're doing. We're going to have tremendous energy, and we're going to lower our prices of energy. Do you know, people in New England, they pay some of the highest prices in the world because we don't have a pipeline, because New York won't let a pipeline go through a very poor section of New York where they need the jobs.
Again, Biden's drilling and energy policies have actually received significant pushback from progressives that expected him to follow through on his promise to end drilling on public lands. But since Republicans can't run on or debate on the facts, the only option Trump has is to simply lie about it. Here's one more topic that he's comfortable ranting about, as long as he's far from any pushback as possible.
We're going to do a tariff system. We're going to bring back our auto jobs. We're going to say to people, we don't want your cars. We're going to tariff those products, and we're going to have reciprocal tariffs. We're going to take in a fortune, but we're going to tariff those jobs. We want them to build auto plants in the United States. So right now, some of the biggest plants in the world for automobiles are being built, you know where? In Mexico, right on the border. And they're going to make cars and sell them into the United States. And those people in Michigan that love me and that I love and that are going to give us a victory because their auto industry won't exist in 2 years if she gets elected. China's going to make, and other countries are going to make all the cars. They're building some of the biggest auto plants. A friend of mine does that. We're not going to let people come to build them in Mexico and build cars and sell them in the United States and close up Michigan and South Carolina and other places.
Won't it be more expensive if you
do it here? No, it won't be. It'll be great. It'll be unbelievable.
And our confirmation is it'll be great. It'll be unbelievable, simply because he said it. When economists actually say that it won't be so great. Pretty unbelievable, but definitely not great. And regarding that prediction that automotive plants will close down under anyone else's administration simply because he's not around to lie about it, someone should ask the auto workers from Michigan, Ohio, Maryland, and other states that had plants closed down while Trump was in office how much they trust his declarations now. This is why he's afraid to debate VP Harris. It's also why his disastrous appearance in front of the National Association of Black Journalists was delayed, because he was vehement about not allowing any fact-checking to happen. As long as he can spout his vast ignorance to red hat-wearing supporters and conservative media that are eager to satisfy him, he thinks he's knowledgeable. Just listen to his comments on crypto and see just how unqualified and third-rate he really is.
You spoke at that crypto conference last weekend, and you said that you'd like crypto to have a more prominent space in America. How
you have to understand about crypto. Crypto is a very interesting thing, very high level in certain ways, intellectually very high level. But if we don't do it, China's going to do it. China's going to do it anyway. But if we don't do it, China's doing it. China's already doing it. And if we don't do it, other countries are going to do it. So we might as well be at the forefront. And there are people in crypto that are very, very smart people who do love our country, and they think it's good. Who knows? Maybe we'll pay off our $35 trillion, hand them a little crypto check, right? We'll hand them a little Bitcoin and wipe out our $35 trillion.
But how do you want it to be more prominent in America? How will that work?
Oh, it's going to work easily. It's already prominent. It's moving along. It's very loosely regulated. That's one of the reasons it's moving along. But it is a different form of a currency, and it's going to end up benefiting the country. But if we shut it down, like, Biden's trying to shut it down, Biden doesn't have the intellect to shut it down. Can you imagine this guy's telling you to shut something down like that? He has no idea what the hell it is.
Thank you all. Have a good time with your Bitcoin and your crypto and everything else that you're playing with.